everyone, thanks for joining me. If you are new, I would really appreciate you hitting the subscribe button. So I've decided I'm going to give a kind of an art journal another try. I have started one several times and I've given up because I always feel like a bit of a lack of confidence, like I'm not really good enough when it comes to kind of art journaling. So I've told myself that it doesn't really matter if I'm not fantastic at it. It's a really cool, mindful exercise to do, and I'm actually doing this at 5 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep. So it really does help to just focus on just creating one page for no reason other than creating, so that your mind can switch off and you can stop thinking about things maybe you did 15 years ago or what on earth you're going to cook for dinner tonight. So I'm using a Winsor & Newton, it's a sketchbook, but it's a heavy weight paper so that it's you can use it for watercolouring. The pages do warp slightly, but it's not a big deal. It doesn't leak through, and that's the main thing. So I've just added a watercolour wash there of pink, because it is one of my favourite colours, if not the favourite. And I'm going to start and do some collage. So I can't draw, I can't really paint, but I do still like to create arty looking things. And so I'm going to take the skills that I know I can do, which is collaging and, you know, making things look pretty and decorating, and I'm going to use those skills that I know I can do to create art journal pages, and focus on my strengths instead of my weaknesses, yeah. So when I can't sleep, I've decided I'm going to come downstairs and do a page. I'm having to do a voiceover after the video because obviously it was so early. I had to be quiet because everybody was in bed. So I'm using my map medium, and I've added on some dictionary page, which is my new favourite thing for collaging because it's nice and thin. It's almost like a tissue. It's lovely. And then I'm using up some napkin that I've used on a previous project. You know, once I've used a panel of a napkin, it all needs using as soon as possible, otherwise it gets wasted or you forget about it, or it gets, you know, spoiled in your collection. So I'm adding that on again with the matte medium and just taking off the excess, and I'll re-add it to the bottom. I quite like decoupaging with napkins. It's nice, chiefly because you can still see what's underneath. It doesn't take over, so you can still see that pink watercolour wash underneath it. It's lovely, and as I layer it over the dictionary page there, it looks like, you know, you've stamped over it, I suppose. It's really nice. It gives you a nice base. So that's just giving me a little bit of a base to start my journal page. I'm drying off in between each process so that I don't get colour runs, things don't get spoiled. So I'm going to maybe try and do a video once a week, working on my art journal, see what we come up with. Like I say, I'm not an artistic, I can't draw or paint, but, you know, I do have other skills, like I say, like collaging and things like that. So that's chiefly what I will be doing. And the good thing about these is it helps you practice with your things that you've got in your stash and see how you can use them, and then transfer those ideas to other things, making tags, doing journal pages, you know, things like that. So yeah, so here I'm adding gesso, and I'm adding that to tone down the black of the ink there on the napkin and the book page, and also to kind of blend it so that it doesn't look like harsh edges where I've added napkins and the book page, and also to blend in where the watercolour wash ends, so that it all looks like it belongs together rather than things just plonked on the page. And I used a baby wipe to do that with, because I feel like I've got more control if I do use a baby wipe, and also because it's damp, you know, it helps me not put too much gesso on, and you can obviously dab it off as you go so that you get a paler kind of application. So I'm going to do some stamping as well, and I'm using a stamp I've had for a while from Stampin' Up called Very Versailles, and that gives a lovely vintage leaf background. But I've decided that the beautiful image there, which is from Janie B, from her Facebook group on Facebook, and it is a freebie image. I printed it 2 to a page in a smaller size than it was produced in, so that it would fit nicely on my page. And she is the main focus of this journal page. She's beautiful, absolutely stunning. Janie B's done a beautiful job. It is soft and pretty, and with the flowers around her head, it really is beautiful. So go and look up Janie B's journals on Facebook. She does give an awful lot of free images to her group members, an awful lot. And what she creates is a little bit different than your average kind of digital images. It's very pretty and very soft. So I'm going to stamp the leaf in peeled paint distress ink to give myself a background. Now you just need to be mindful, if you use distress ink for stamping, that it is designed to react very quickly with water. So if you use it for stamping, be mindful of anything you put over the top of it if you don't want it to run. I don't want it to run, so I'm going to have to be careful I don't add any sprays or anything like that over the top, otherwise it will react with that stamping and make that run. I'm also going to have to be careful what glues I use, so I'm not going to use my matte medium to put that focal image on, because I know that the matte medium that I've got will react with that distress ink and make that green run, and it won't look as crisp and as pretty. So yeah, just be mindful. If I wanted to spray on the top or add more things like that, I would use an archival permanent ink rather than a distress ink. But I like the softness of the distress inks, which is why I'm using it. And also I don't have the green colour in a non-reactive ink. I'm just clipping my page because it is warping a bit, but I'm confident it'll flatten with time, with the weight of the book. So this is why I'm using glue stick, like I said, so that I'm not adding any liquid to the page to react with that distress ink. And I think she's absolutely gorgeous. She's such a pretty face. I've got a tiny bit of ink on her face there, but never mind. It's an art journal page. You're gonna get cross-contamination. So what I'm going to do now is, I think I'm going to add the sentiment. I can't remember what I did next. Yeah, I'm adding the sentiment, and I'm using the Tim Holtz washi tape ones. I normally back it on cardstock, but on this one I wanted to see through it, so I've used it as is. And sometimes I will go around my sentiments with black ink. I decided not to on this one because I wanted a really soft, pretty page. I didn't want any harshness to it. So yeah, I think those are really beautiful, and it says beautiful possibility. Then I'm just going to try and frame it. Now it can be difficult in a bound journal like this, it's already bound with spirals and things, to you know, frame your images because the spirals are in the way. But if you use a stencil, they're quite flexible, so it's an easy way of doing it. You wouldn't be able to stamp too close to the spring, you know, the ring binding part, for example, because you wouldn't be able to, there wouldn't be room. So a stencil's a good idea. I just remembered that the last time I used it, I used black soot, so I'm just having to clean it off. I must have forgotten to clean it before I put it away. and I'm just going to use sponge sugar. So it might not show on camera here to you, but you can see it in you know, in the flesh, and it's a very subtle pink. You can just see it there, look, and it just frames the image very softly and very prettily. I also do have a bit of a problem with white space. I feel like I have to fill every inch of the page. It is a bit of a problem, which I'm hoping to I've been looking on Pinterest at some other artists and how they do what I call minimal pages, so I'll be having a go at those as well. But for now, less is not more. Definitely not in Amanda land. So that does frame that very, very softly and very prettily. It's really nice. I'm really actually very pleased with it, of how it turned out. And because the first one that I've done's turned out really well, that will encourage me to keep going and have another go. So I'll do another one the next time that I'm up in the middle of the night and I can't sleep and my mind's whirring. I'm going to come and do some mindful crafting. So what I decided to do next was just add some splattering, and I'm using a tuxedo frosted mini paint there, and it's just got a slight shimmer to it. It's a very tiny bottle, but you only need a really small amount. You can even water it down if you want, but yeah, I've had it a while, so it needs using. So I'm just going to put some splatters and try and avoid the main part of the face there. I don't really want it on the face. I'm just going around the edges. So I'm really happy with that. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.